We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully your day is going well. This is a Rational Boomer podcast, and it's also going to be a TikTok live. Now, I did a Substack live yesterday. That was fun. This one's going to get a little more hectic. We're going to have some moderators, TJ and Rebecca, and probably some others. We'll have the standard fare, the people who normally come on and sit on a panel. But more importantly, we're going to take some time to talk to as many people as we can that are in the audience. I'm a firm believer that you don't need to just hear from me. We need to hear from everybody. Everybody should have a voice, and that's going to make what we're trying to do much stronger. So we got people jumping in here very quickly. Good to see. If you have questions, comments, be ready. Let us know what those are. I'll be pulling up some of our regulars here. Let's see if they're in the house. Rebecca is here. Still waiting on TJ, but TJ will be along. He's out of town, I guess. Rebecca, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Mike. How are you? Sorry, my puppy just barked at you.
No problem. We love dogs here. You're at home where you live, but I understand TJ's out of town today?
No, he's back. He just went to Pittsburgh for the day. He's back though. We both.
Oh, okay.
I just got home from work, and he just got back from Pittsburgh.
I got you. I haven't seen him pop up yet, but we will soon enough. I was going to ask you, Donald Trump during his campaign said, we are going to have no taxes on tips. We are going to have no taxes on overtime. We're going to have no taxes on Social Security. And we are definitely not going to make cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. Well, the budget from the Republicans is out, and guess what? They're going to cut Medicaid substantially if it gets voted through. And there wasn't one single message or mention of cutting taxes from overtime, tips, or Social Security. But they just fuck up? They forgot? They forgot what?
Of course not. Did anybody who actually thought any of that was going to happen is just delusional?
Yeah. It's just, this is the thing that Donald Trump continually does. He continually lies, and people like you and I don't believe it, but a lot of people do. A lot of the base do. And I wonder how they're going to react to that now. I don't think they're going to get this bill through. There's people like Josh Hawley and other Republicans going, hold on a minute, this is political suicide. And they're absolutely right about that. Anybody who votes to cut Medicaid better be planning on a career change, because there's going to be a lot of people upset and angry. That's a line too far. But it's going to be interesting to see how many toadies do follow the line with Donald Trump, in spite of the fact Donald Trump keeps saying, we're not touching Medicaid. Yeah, you are, dumb fuck. Do you think it has any chance of passing?
Even if it makes it through the House, which is, I think, is more possible, it's never going to pass the Senate.
No. What and this is what's good about this, knowing that I don't think it will pass. It won't be a thing. This is going to be a great opportunity to expose those folks that lie. I mean, I don't know if you remember back when Joe Biden had a State of the Union, and he said these Republicans want to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. They all booed him. He's lying. That's not true. And then Joe said, okay, well, let's all just agree not to touch Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. And then it kind of went by the wayside. Then Donald Trump becomes president, and it's a different story. Donald Trump keeps saying, we're not touching Medicaid. But if you look at the budget, it very clearly says they're going to touch Medicaid, and it's going to cut out 13.5 million people, take away their medical care. I don't know how these Republicans are justifying this, but they're spinning around and diverting and distracting. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, I have no idea. And I don't know what Donald Trump actually knows anymore. Like, I don't know what he's even privy to these days. But
yeah,
they all think they're bulletproof now. They all think they're bulletproof.
Do you think they think they're bulletproof, or they're just caught in a corner and they don't know what to do? They know what the right thing is to do, but they're afraid of Donald Trump. So they're between a rock and a hard place.
Donald Trump thinks he's bulletproof. Maybe you might be right about that. Like, Yeah, they may be terrified of him. Although I don't understand why at this point. Like, I don't. Does he really have? Do you think that the only thing I can think of is that he literally has dirt on all of them? Like, I don't know
Yeah,
why at
yeah,
this point they would still be following him. It's like political suicide.
absolutely. Well, we have TJ with us now. TJ, welcome back. We're going to do a little live here, talk some shit. You're going to moderate the fuck out of this with Rebecca. Make sure the Trump-la-fucks don't get through and cry and whine. What's the thing that's been on your mind today with all the ridiculous news that's been going on?
Well, I don't know. I've been a little bit out of the loop today because it was like a 15-hour workday. So I'm a little.
Oh, okay.
The second Tuesday of the month is the day that Rebecca and I run the gauntlet. So
Oh, I see.
yeah, we got home, rushed to let the dogs out, rushed to get something to eat, and then got on here. So I've been a little out of
Well,
the loop.
well. When I asked you earlier today, how do you feel about a live? You said okay. You didn't have to do that. You could have said we could do it tomorrow if you
Nah.
got a lot of shit going on.
I made it in time. So
Yeah,
because I
we
had
can,
to.
we can always do it. It's just sometimes a little hectic to get there, but we're here.
Yeah, I just had to, a 2-hour drive home. That was all.
That sucks.
Yeah,
That sucks.
that's
I have-
every second Tuesday of the month I have to do that.
I'll try to remember that for the future. We've got a comment. Gerald says, I use Medicaid. I'm bipolar. I have to take my medication every day.
Oh,
That's the thing. For people like you and I and Rebecca, we probably don't get Medicaid, but there are millions of people that do.
yep.
And over and above what they might do, should it ever get taken away, and I don't believe it will because I don't think it will pass, but just putting these people in a state of terror, just at the threat of they're not going to have medical care, they're not going to have their prescriptions. It's appalling what the Republicans are willing to do to the electorate, in spite of the fact it's going to bite them in the ass come 2026.
Yeah.
Well, let's what I was going to say about this is that the Republicans have to understand that this is what Josh Hawley said, political suicide. If you vote against Medicaid, that is a red line. And there are a lot of people in red states that count on Medicaid. They're the ones that thought it would affect everybody else but them, but it's going to become a reality now that it does in fact affect them. And they're not going to be too happy come election time. They'll vote for fucking anybody but the people that stole their medical from them.
Well, this is just a precursor to the slaughter that's going to happen in the midterm elections. Because
Yeah.
if it happen in the midterm elections, because
Yeah.
if they bring this, and I don't think it'll pass the Senate because I don't think Senate Republicans are that stupid to pass this thing. But if they were to bring it and pass it, it's game over for them forever. Because
Yeah.
you're gonna disenfranchise millions of Americans from health care across the entire country.
Yeah, somebody's asking here, and maybe you can better explain this. Jackie says, what demographic of our population will be affected? And I have to think it's Medicaid at this level will be some young people and people on the poorer end of the spectrum. Do you think that's about right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of people on Medicaid are people who retired before 65. So there's some people on
Yeah.
Medicaid in that way, and a huge chunk of them are people who live in poverty, and there, not only that is that going to get cut, but the CHIPS program will be cut too for for
Right.
children. So there's a ton of children that are on Medicaid. So the
Well, I would imagine.
the demographic
I would imagine
is wide.
It affects. I imagine it affects a lot of people who are too young to get Medicare and maybe had some serious injury too, a head trauma or something like that. They would be too young for Medicare, but they would get Medicaid because they can't afford to pay. They didn't have medical care or whatever. It's
Well,
going to
certainly.
affect a lot of people.
Isn't
cer-
anybody on disability also eligible for Medicaid?
yes, it will.
yes.
People who are disabled are going to be affected by that.
And there's lots of people that are on disability that have would have ridiculous prescription bills, or they won't even be able to get their prescriptions. And it's a lot of mental health issues they're on disability. I mean, it would be bad.
It will effectively kill people, for sure.
Oh, no question.
Yeah, if they can't get access to health care and get access to prescription drugs that they need to sustain their life. So effectively, the Republicans want to kill people that, otherwise could live.
Yeah, and they're not afraid of killing people. They killed 1 million people during COVID, and God knows how many more since then. They have no problem with people dying as long as it's not them and it's not the wealthy.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull somebody up here. Somebody we've talked to before, I believe. She goes by the name of the Poet. And the Poet, how are you doing? And what's on your mind today? No. Bribery and conspiracy, I believe. Yeah, he was accepting gifts. He had some gold bars, some other shit, money. It seems like this is, and it's funny, Clarence Thomas has accepted some gifts too, some trips, RV. It's weird how that works out, isn't it? Well, the funny thing is Donald Trump tries to justify this. Well, they're going to give me a free plane. I'd be stupid not to take it. Well, it wouldn't be stupid if you read the Constitution, the Emoluments Clause. You wouldn't be stupid to turn it down. You're not the first one to get offered gifts. I was watching something with Jen Psaki, and she was talking to somebody who worked with her, another guy, his name is Ben Rhodes. And he was telling a story that how one day when he was in the Middle East, he went into his hotel room and there was a suitcase there, and he opened the suitcase and there were tons of jewels in there. And he thought, wow, why did they pick me out? And then he found out that they did it to everybody who went with the trip. And so they immediately call somebody higher up and they say, just leave it there. Don't get near it. We'll have it taken away. And basically what happens at that point, it becomes a property of America and they can do whatever they want, sell it, store it, throw it away, whatever. But that's not the case anymore. You just smash and grab.
Well,
what I have a problem with too, and I'll land my plane. We have legitimate refugees across the world. We know of the economic and political climate in some countries. And let's use Haiti, for example. But they were given this TPS by prior administration. But you want to go and cancel that and threatening to, deport all of them or let them self-deport. You're going to give them $1,000. But you go and you use our tax-paying dollars to go bring these white South African people here and give them stuff. So where is the hypocrisy? When are we going to address the hypocrisy of what's going on? And they might be, being persecuted. I don't know the whole story, but it's like an elephant in the room.
Can I tell you guys something about gifts?
Yeah.
So I am a labor leader, okay? And there's rules about me accepting anything like a gift or whatever. So let's say that I have a vendor like Blue Cross Blue Shield, okay? And that vendor comes to me and says, hey, we want to take you on this golf trip, and we're going to have to give you an LM30 because the value of that trip is above $250. If I don't take that, if I go and go on that trip and I do that, that golf trip, I have to file a form with the federal government, an LM30, and I have to disclose to the federal government that I took a gift from a vendor of my own or whoever it might be. And I have to tell the federal government, because if I don't do that, they can throw me in jail. They can
Wow.
prosecute me for that. I can be convicted of a crime for not disclosing, because essentially what they're saying is if you don't file the LM30, it's a bribe. But
Yeah.
hey, it's cool. Like Donald Trump can take a $400 million aircraft from the Qataris, and that's perfectly just fucking okay. You know, that's insanity to me. That I have to, if I take a pencil from, somebody, I got to file a form, but Donald Trump can take a $400 million plane. That makes no fucking sense. And that's exactly why they created the emoluments clause, because they don't want people bribing the president. And hey, I have no problem with disclosing anything that I get from anybody, because I don't take anything anyway. I've only ever filed an LM30 one time in my career. So I can't believe that people, the Trump-la-fucks, are justifying this on social media, and they're lying about it and saying that they're giving it to the government. They're not offering it to the Department of Defense or the government. They're offering it to Donald Trump. That's ridiculous.
Well, let me ask you this. Maybe any of you know this. It is illegal. It is bribery. Bob Menendez did go to jail for bribery, and now his wife is going to jail as well because she was convicted. It is legal right now, but of course we got the illustrious Pam Bondi as the Attorney General, and Donald Trump pretty much works her like a fucking puppet. She won't do anything at all. Once this is all said and done, and Donald Trump is no longer in office, and Pam Bondi is got an OnlyFans some fucking place, is it conceivable that they could then, because these are crimes, is it conceivable that a normal DOJ and a normal president could go after Donald Trump and all the other people involved in this for this crime?
Well, yes and no. And the reason why I say yes and no is because the Supreme Court fucked up and given Donald Trump immunity for official actions. So Donald Trump might be harder to go after, but all of his little sycophant cronies underneath him, absolutely.
Yeah.
They can absolutely prosecute those. And any of them that think that Donald Trump's going to give them pardons, they're fucking stupid. He doesn't give a shit about them. He's not going to give them pardons. They're gonna crash and burn, and they're gonna all end up in jail.
Can SCOTUS walk that back?
They could if they reheard it.
And I have a feeling they probably will ultimately when Donald Trump's out of the way.
Well,
Someone
we
could
need to get them
ask.
some term limits.
They need a court case. So in other words, someone could file a case against Donald Trump, and they could actually elevate it to the Supreme Court, so they could, like some action that he made, and then they could re-rule on it. But the likelihood of that right now is impossible.
Well, I want to say I pray for the Republic every day. I took an oath to defend the Constitution, and the country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And I became a naturalized citizen, and I'm defending her by voting for the right candidate come 2028. And I'm tired of this left-wing thing. I'm fed up. We need to get back to the America that gives you opportunity, a beacon of hope and light. Give me your tired masses. Right? We cannot destroy that fabric. Yes, I believe in keeping out those wannabe criminal elements, but we must not destroy that fabric that makes us such a beautiful country. And that's
Poet, when did you come here? When did you come to this
I
country?
came here in 1985.
And why did you come here?
I came here for opportunity. America does a beautiful job through movies, through Hollywood, through stuff. Oh, look at me. And I saw things. I came here. I went to college, university. I majored in finance, but I found it to be a colossal bore. So I got out of finance and I dabbled in other careers law enforcement and education. And I use my education in the field to deal with stuff, solve things and stuff like that. And
Right.
America is a beautiful place. I took up train and I went different places around. I rode the Greyhound. I drove. I flew over. It's a beautiful country, and we must not let one person. That is why the Constitution is there. Come and destroy it all.
Poet,
Why?
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Poet. You said you took the Greyhound,
Yep, I went
right?
down the East Coast.
Are you ever gonna take it again?
No.
I had a feeling.
I
You know why?
I went
The
from
odor
Erie,
from the bath
Pennsylvania.
on the bus.
I went from Erie, Pennsylvania to Los Angeles, California, and back on the Greyhound in my early 20s. Never again.
The
Never again.
bathroom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah,
So I would
it's
drive.
it's
I love the train. I love the train because you see through the countryside and of a beautiful country. For the most part, I find us as Americans, we get along. We may differ in religion and political views, but we get along. We're not that radical sort of individuals. You understand what I'm saying? So
Well,
we
we're
need to
not.
get back to that. You
We're
like my
not.
yeah.
accent? My
We all
accent
used to get
is a
along much
Trini
better.
Bajan accent.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Well, Poet,
Thank you
thank
for.
you for coming on. I appreciate it very much. It's
You're
always a pleasure
welcome.
to hear
Thank
from
you,
you.
everyone. Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you
Ellen.
very much.
Bye.
All right. Well, JD said something. JD Farmer, he'll probably be on later. He said a local election in Nebraska and Oklahoma went mostly blue today. Omaha mayor flipped to blue.
Wow.
So this shit that's going on is certainly having an impact on what's going on out here. I'm bringing somebody else up. This is Queen Aaliyah. I don't know if she's an actual queen, but Queen Aaliyah, how are you doing?
No, I'm good. I'm not the queen, but my dog is.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
If she could speak English, I'm sure she would be better than I am. But I am an accountant, and I
Okay.
took government accounting classes throughout my college years, and I've been in the workforce almost a decade now, give or take.
Okay.
I don't currently work in government accounting. In fact, after those government accounting classes, I opted out of that. And the reason being is because they have multiple. So I don't know if there's any accountants in the chat or anyone who's familiar with that, but we have different accounts things are coded to. They have certain quote unquote ambiguous accounts. They're not ambiguous, but it's give or take. You can't really tell what's in them or what's coded to them or why it's coded to that account. And I went into accounting because I want to know what's going on, right? Like my job is to
Yeah.
review and know what's happening. And but this was over a decade ago that I first ran into governmental accounting, and you're not allowed to ask certain questions when it comes to government at all.
R-
In fact,
Why
they
not?
just because they don't want you to know. It's a matter of national security or state
Oh,
security.
Jesus.
Yeah, so why do you think they failed their audits all these years? That's exactly why. Like you just actually don't get to know any of the information of what you're coding. They just tell you the number that you're supposed to code to, like the dollar amount, and that's what you code it to.
Wow.
And so that's been ongoing, not just since I was in college, that was ongoing decades beforehand. So I thought that might be something of use for you as somebody
Absolutely.
who's taken those classes, because I mean, we know that the government corruptness is hitting its height as we currently speak, but
Yep.
it's not new. It's been happening for a long time, and this was oh gosh, yeah, I think the first government class I would have taken was right around the first. I'm not going to say what I really want to say, but you know what I mean. The first
You could
era,
say
the
right.
orange
The
orangutan.
first Trump shit show. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one.
How do you feel about being an accountant, just doing what you do, and apparently knowing more than our highest level officials in this fucking government? Either they're corrupt or they're stupid, and
They're stupid. Because
yeah, well, they're
I'm pretty.
stupid too.
Look, I'm 27 years old. I know I'm stupid. There's no excuse.
Well,
They got to be
I,
stupid.
I,
They got to be stupid.
well, I wouldn't say because you're 27, you're stupid. I would say anybody in their 20s is inexperienced, but if you're aware of that and continue to want to learn, then you're pretty smart.
Well, that should be the very, very, very bare minimum, I think, for any level of intelligence. But the fact that they're at the age they are and they don't seem to learn from mistakes and they don't seem to learn from prior errors should tell you everything you need to know.
Well, and I think it's more about Donald Trump not caring or not knowing or not understanding, and everybody else around him are sycophants, and they know it's bad, they know it's wrong, but they still do it because of loyalty or fear of Donald Trump, and that's what's fucked up about it.
Well, that's not even stupid. That's just being a coward.
Yeah, it's absolutely being a coward. Well, Queen Aaliyah, I know that's your dog. What's your first name?
My name is Liz. You can call me anything that starts with an L. I'll probably answer.
All right, Liz. Thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Thanks, Liz.
You too. A young lady at 27 knows more than Scott Bessent, apparently. That's fucking unbelievable to me. It's just unbelievable to me. I'm going to pull somebody else up here. Well, let's see. I'm going to pull up Matt D. Or not. Apparently he's not coming. Let's see who else we got. Adventure a Man. I don't know what that means exactly. People have some creative names. I'll just call you Adventure. Are you there, and what's on your mind?
Yes. Hello. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. What's up?
First of all, let me say that I despise Trump.
Thank you.
But I do have to thank him for making me aware of what's going on in the government and trying to start learning myself and doing myself involved.
I need you to get closer to wherever your mic is because you're fading out. Just get a little closer to your phone or whatever.
Is that better?
That's better.
Okay. What I was saying was I have to thank Trump because he's done such a bad job that he's made me more aware of what's going on in the government and wanting to learn more myself.
I think you're absolutely right. You know, so I heard somebody else on TikTok say this, and I've said this before. The one positive thing we can say about Donald Trump, we've had corruption and crime for decades and decades and decades. It wasn't until Donald Trump was stupid enough to raise everything to the surface so we can see it. The good news about that is, the bad news is we have to deal with that shit. But the good news is we know it's there now, and when we're in a position to fix it, at least we know what the fuck to fix.
One thing I have learned is even if Trump was to be impeached and found guilty, with what he's done to the government and what he's done to us and our 401ks, we still have to pay for Secret Service to protect him the rest of his life.
Yeah.
After everything that's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. That is frustrating, and I don't know. Maybe that's not the case if he gets impeached. Maybe he doesn't get that kind of coverage.
Maybe that'll change if he's indicted and convicted and sent to detention.
From what I've read, even if he's found guilty of him after being impeached, he still has the opportunity to achieve that.
Well, that may be, but didn't Donald Trump take the security off of all of Joe Biden's family?
Yep.
I don't know that he can do it to Joe Biden himself, but you get a Democrat in there with a little bit of an attitude. I'm sure they can find a way to fuck with Donald Trump, former president.
Oh, for sure.
What goes around comes around.
Takes a
Absolutely.
Yep.
those things to make sure that things like this can never happen again.
Well, the thing about it is I'm not sure he's going to survive till 2028. The guy doesn't look good mentally. He's losing it. I saw a video of him in the Middle East. He was sitting there listening to somebody talking. As long as he's not talking, he's not interested. Motherfucker looked like he was falling asleep or was asleep. So I'm sure things are going to deteriorate fast in terms of his emotional, his mental, and his physical condition.
Yeah, he looks terrible. I don't even know how he's still golfing. Like, he looks horrible.
He does cheat, so that may have something to do with it.
Yeah.
Adventure, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and thank you for everything you do. You've been keeping me informed, doing it yourself. I look forward to your stuff every single day.
Well, I appreciate that, and I truly do appreciate the people that watch. When I first started doing this, me and a lot of people said, nobody's going to watch you. So the fact that people do is an incredible compliment. So I appreciate it from you and everybody else that takes the time to listen. I certainly couldn't get my family to fucking do it. So thank you.
Thank you. You are a part of my everyday now.
Well, thank you.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead, TJ.
Well, your wife and your kids said that no one would listen to you, but they were motherfucking wrong.
They were motherfucking wrong. Absolutely. Absolutely. You just have to have a little audacity, and I got my share of that shit. So anyway, Adventure, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And thank you so much. You take care.
You too. You know, I just want you. I just want you guys to know something. If it sounds like they're going to compliment me, don't interrupt that motherfucker. Just let him go. Let him go.
I know I know it's far and few, but yeah, you're okay.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're gonna bring a regular up here, JD Farmer. He is a Gen Z farmer. He's dealing with some of the shit, the shit that Donald Trump has wrought. JD, welcome to the panel here. What's going on with you?
Yeah, well, since you gave me shit last time for not joining you, I thought I'd join in a little earlier today.
So this is a pity request then, huh?
He got you, John.
He just dunked on you.
Never cross the old guys, John. Never cross the old guys.
That's true. They'll throw it back at you every time.
Well, JD is a farmer in Illinois. He's a young man, and we've been talking about the effects on farmers, because of all this stuff that Donald Trump says that's happening. Cut a deal with England or UK. We cut a deal with China. He hasn't cut one deal yet. No. He's got a pause in China. We don't know where that's going to go or how that's going to affect things, whether China's going to start sending ships or not, because even if they do have an alleged deal, the ships don't start coming, all hell is going to break loose. UK amounts to about 3% of our fucking trade, so big goddamn deal. How is this affecting farmers from your point of view, JD?
It's kind of a mess.
Is it?
I mean, like right now, it ain't all that bad for us, but when it comes time to harvest and sell this year's crop, I don't know what kind of a market there's going to be, because China takes a lot of our corn and soybeans because they use a ton of it, but they can't grow it.
Right.
Whereas we can grow it, but we don't use very much of it. So it only makes sense that we grow it here in our climate and we ship it to them. But if they're not buying the stuff, what are you going to do with it? You're just sitting on millions of bushels of grain that you can't use.
Well, and the thing about it is, JD, if China doesn't buy it, you could say, well, I'll send it to another country. But Donald Trump has pissed off every country. And if there isn't a market big enough for it here in the United States, you literally have shit rotting in bins or in the fields, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, a lot of those countries already made deals with other countries to source those products. So,
right.
China's buying soybeans from, what is it, Argentina or
Brazil,
yeah. That they're not. This is not going to be a fast fix, if it's ever a fix. And
Yeah,
then,
no.
and now
Brazil is loving this.
Right.
Because the whole
I
world is
imagine.
going to Brazil now.
Yep, and now Donald Trump knows that, he finally came to the realization that he fucked up and he's going to bail out the farmers again.
Yeah. And there's someone in the comments saying that we use it for ethanol, and that's true that we do use corn for ethanol, but we don't use very much of it. I mean, we produce I don't know how many millions of bushels of corn every year, and there's just not a you can't use all of that at all for
No.
ethanol. We would have way more ethanol than we never know what to do with.
Jesus Christ, you ever drive through Iowa? It's like all
Yeah.
cornfields, the whole goddamn state.
Yeah.
It is. We got a lot here in Minnesota too. There's a lot of people
There
growing
is.
corn.
There is talk of there's research going on, or there was. I don't know if there is now, but there was research of using corn-based fuel for aviation fuel, and if they could do that and make it safe and all that, it could be a good deal. But that's a long ways out.
Well, I got to tell you, fuel is one thing when it comes to aviation, but if we could figure out a way to use corn to run the towers and keep communications up, we'd be a lot better off. We've got Newark going through all kinds of shit, and I suspect that's going to spread to other parts of the country as what Donald Trump and Elon Musk has done to harm the airline industry. JD, are your bosses anticipating this potential mess? I mean, it's almost inevitable that it's going to happen. It's one thing when you're out there growing the crops and doing everything and everything seems to be fine. But like you say, when you have to sell this shit, they got to be thinking about, well, our biggest buyer probably isn't going to buy our shit. Are they getting antsy about this?
Oh, I mean, a little bit, I think.
A little bit?
Well,
I think it would.
well, and there's the Trump thing coming into play.
Right, because they're Trump-a-fox, right?
Yes, they are. So, like, they'll recognize that there's a problem with the market, but they won't connect the dots.
Oh, Jesus
Saying,
Christ.
okay, why is there a problem with the market? They don't ask that question.
Yeah. They had 4 straight years of good, harvests and sales, but now they can't figure it out. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I'd also like to point out that someone in the chat said that JD is a corn star.
Well, yeah, but if you read the news, they're going to be outlawing that too. So you can't be a corn star or.
Man, what is Mike Johnson going to do with his son?
Yeah, no shit.
I think we need to check the laptop and see where that senator was.
Yeah,
Man,
we
the grinder app's going to fucking go broke.
I know.
that's what. Well, yeah, and if
There's
the
gonna be a lot
grinder,
of
if
hookups
it,
going on, man.
yeah, what if we outlawed the grinder app? The Republican Party would be a mass of people with blue balls. It would be fucking horrible.
They'd be more irritated than they are now.
Yeah, they would have some serious fucking attitudes. Everything they're doing is so over the top. I mean, it's like, let's get everything in. Let's cancel Medicaid. Let's get rid of porn. Let's do this. Let's do that. And it's like they're in this frenzy to try to do the most crazy shit that's going to cost them their elections. It's almost as if they don't care.
Well, and I think that's just it. They know they're gonna fucking get destroyed in a year and a half, and I think they're just trying to get through 10 years worth of policy shit in like a year.
Right.
They know their time is very, very limited, so they're just trying to throwing everything they can at the wall and hopes that something will stick.
Can you
Every
imagine?
every monkey wrench they can throw into the government is like a win for them because they're owning the libs. That's all they care about.
Could you imagine being a fly on the wall in some of these GOP meetings? I mean, they gotta be fucking losing it because Donald Trump is gonna fuck them in every election from local all the way up to federal.
They know it too.
They know
Well,
it.
and JD
Fuck yeah.
JD, you were the one that mentioned the elections that were going on and in your area or in the Midwest. Why don't
Yeah.
you reiterate that, because that's kind of interesting.
Well, I just saw an Aaron Parnas video a little while ago. But there were local elections in Oklahoma and Nebraska, and they all shifted blue. Not
Wow.
all of them. Not all of them were blue victories, but they all shifted to the left. Omaha apparently elected their first Democratic mayor in 12 years.
Wow. And Nebraska and Oklahoma are some seriously ass red states.
Oh yeah.
So to that happening, that should be a signal to Trumplafucks that, maybe we should pull back. Maybe we shouldn't be as crazy as we're being. But they won't. They'll continue down this road as long as Donald Trump continues to force them to do it. The cowardice is fucking unbelievable to me.
Yeah. I did see something weird today that I did not expect.
What's that?
So there's been a lot of, push on John Fetterman, my senator. They a lot
Yeah,
of shit. There's been a lot of
Fucking
shit.
goofball.
Yeah, there's been a lot of shit talking, about him, and they're saying that he has these erratic behaviors and all kinds of issues. But the weird thing that happened is that the Republican that got elected to the Senate in the other seat, Dave McCormick, he's been defending John Fetterman on
Wow.
on social media and in the media. He's been defending him, which he's saying all these things aren't true about John Fetterman. That, to me, that's really bizarre. You would think that he would go out and do the will of the GOP and try to dig that in to get Fetterman out in the next
That's,
election. But
That says all you need right there, honestly.
Yeah, I think that is basically saying, listen, Fetterman's on our side, not yours. So
Well, and,
Yep.
and the thing about it is, I've seen videos of these incidents with Fetterman. Something's off with this fucking dude, no question.
absolutely, no question about that.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, he went into therapy or whatever it was for a time for depression and whatever, and he has not been the same since. And we all support the fucked up thing is, like, we all supported him through his all his medical issues. We still voted for him. All his, he went into therapy for depression and was gone for a while. We supported him through all that, and then he comes out with basically fucking us left and right.
Let me ask you, TJ, you're in Pennsylvania, you're a union leader. I think you told me at one point that you've had occasion to talk to Fetterman from time to time. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Am I right? Okay, and what was your read on him when you met him? Obviously, this was some time back.
Well, I met him quite a long time ago. He was the mayor of Braddock, Pennsylvania when I met him, so that's going back
Okay.
quite a while. When I first met him and up until he had the stroke, after he had the stroke, I didn't really have a lot of interaction with him, like maybe only one or two times after that. But he was always kind of a little bit goofy, but like I didn't think that he was like off the rails or anything. You know what I mean? He seemed like a good person. He seemed virtuous, like he believed in the things he believed in, and it kind of aligned basically with what I did, what I believe in. So I didn't think that he was off the reservation or anything like that, but things have changed a little bit since then. Like I like John as a person, I respect him, but the stuff that's going on, like, it seems a little unsavvy.
Well, in terms of his performance during the last Congress and some of the things he's doing in this erratic behavior, don't you think he needs to get the fuck out of there? He needs to either resign or be removed somehow, so Josh Shapiro can put somebody of a reasonable mind in that position.
Yeah, I do think that maybe, given his medical issues, he should probably hang it up.
Yeah.
I like John. He was a nice guy. He's a gentle giant, but he's just I don't think that he may not be fit to retain that seat. And I can tell you for sure that the GOP is going to use all that ammunition that they've gotten with these videos and all that. They're going to use that against him in the next election. So like if he resigned and Governor Shapiro could put somebody in there that could hang out for a couple of years to be an incumbent, that could, if you're an incumbent, makes a difference,
Yeah, definitely.
So if I think that maybe he should hopefully consider that. I don't know if he will, but it doesn't seem like he will.
I think that the reason his fellow senator from Pennsylvania wants him in there is the same reason why I've said before about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay? Marjorie Taylor Greene is a fucking idiot. She never gets anything accomplished. She's never really proposed any bills that passed. And people say we should get her out of there. And I've said, no, wait a minute. Aren't we better off with a non-productive rep in that position instead of maybe bringing somebody in that might be reasonable and productive? And I have a feeling that the Republican senator feels the same way. He's either going to be harmful to the Democrats or he's going to be a non-factor to the Democrats. And either way, that's good for the Republicans.
Right. Yeah, and it didn't really help him that he went down to Mar-a-Lago and met with Trump. That was a bad look. It kind of seemed like a kiss the ring moment. Even maybe it wasn't, but that's how I perceived it. So it's going to be a very strange situation. I don't think that Fetterman's going to retire or resign. I think he's just going to stick it out.
We got a bunch of goofballs. I wanted to bring something else
we're
up.
blocking left and right. JD and I were just talking about that. They're like, oh, they found us.
Yeah, they usually get in, in about an hour.
The Trumplafucks? Yeah, they're out there. I wish there was one that was fairly articulate and had a reasonable mind and could shut up now and again. I'd love to debate one. It wouldn't be hard because they're all talking about lies and shit, but it's impossible to get through to anybody. I wanted to bring this up. You remember the story about the ICE agents who arrested the judge in Wisconsin?
Yep.
They claim that she was obstructing their attempt to arrest an illegal immigrant. This illegal immigrant came into court, and then she pointed him in a direction to go out a different door, and they called that obstruction of justice. Now, when I heard that, I thought, oh, fuck, this is just stupid. This is just ridiculous. But then today I find out a grand jury fucking indicted her. She's going to have to go on trial for this. This is absolutely ridiculous.
It is. That's insane. Like she literally what did she do? I think that they had the case or whatever, and then I showed up afterwards, and she pointed them, go out this way or whatever, and it's not like she hid them in a freaking broom closet until
Don't you guys think that this is all performative? I mean,
oh yeah,
it's the same thing with the mayor of Newark. It is.
It's Pam Bondi exerting her pressure down on the prosecutors. That's all it is. It's all performative. It's they're trying to make something out of. No jury's going to convict that judge of anything. That's a bunch of bullshit. The judge didn't do anything.
It's basically just a smear campaign type thing.
Well, and I think somebody made a point to me too. Yes, she got indicted, but in a grand jury, it's basically the prosecution making a sales pitch, and then they decide from that. And who knows what that prosecutor said, what lies he told, or how he twisted it. So it isn't that crazy to find out that she was indicted. But you're right. When she goes to trial, this is going to be embarrassing for the prosecution, because there's no way they're going to find her guilty. That's just fucking crazy.
It's just all performance. That's all it is.
Yeah, it absolutely is. We hear about Donald Trump on this barnstorming trip, and if there's Republicans out there, I'd love to hear an answer in the comments about this. First of all, Donald Trump is going to accept a plane of $400 million from the royal family of Qatar. Now, I saw a video in Donald Trump's first term, and I've heard this told today. Qatar is the single biggest financial supporter of Hamas and other terrorist organizations. So Donald Trump is taking a gift from a country, a royal family who's supporting Hamas. How do you folks that called Genocide Joe now feel about Donald Trump? He doesn't give a fuck if they're killing people. He's just getting a free deal.
Right.
He's getting a free deal. The other thing I want to remind people too is he's over in the Middle East. He's in Saudi Arabia. Okay. For some reason, all presidents are friends with Saudi Arabia. It's because of the money. But I want to remind Republicans this. In the tragedy of 9/11, the vast majority of the pilots that crashed into buildings and crashed into the Pentagon and in Pennsylvania, the vast majority of them were Saudi Arabian. Osama bin Laden was from Saudi Arabia. Donald Trump praised the crown prince of Saudi Arabia today. And you remember he was the guy that murdered by dismemberment Jamal Khashoggi, the American journalist. You people, Republicans, hate Muslims. Donald Trump wanted to do the Muslim ban. And Donald Trump is dancing and kissing the rings of all these people that were tied to terrorist actions in this country and abroad. How do you square that with what Donald Trump is doing? I'd love to hear a legitimate, intelligent answer, but because I'm asking Trump-fucks, I know that's impossible.
Yeah, good
there's-
luck with that.
There's not going to be a legitimate answer.
And if the answer includes the word Biden, it is not valid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
Well, Biden did this. Fuck you.
hey, British John is in here. Just FYI.
He's been in here for a while.
We gotta put him back a little bit, but hopefully he'll hang around.
Yeah, hopefully he'll hang around. I will get to British John, as I always do. But I'd like to get a full hour in anyway before we start to slide, as it were. I'm bringing somebody else in, Bren Jacob. I'm guessing this is a combination name. Bren Jacob, how are you doing? What's on your mind?
Well, not only is Donald Trump accepting a $400 million plane, but they also gave him a golf resort on a beachfront.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard
Property.
something about that. And maybe building a tower someplace too. Yeah, well, I think Donald Trump's looking for a place to live when he's done being president because it's not going to be a friendly place to him after the fact.
No, it won't be.
All right, this fucking
But
guy's gotta go.
he's also getting a hotel built in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
mean-
yeah.
Grifting at the highest level. And I believe they gave him $2 billion for his crypto.
Oh yeah, he's just hauling it in. He's stuffing his pockets. It's a barnstorming tour. He's taking as much money as he can get, and he's not ashamed at all. This guy is fucking shameless about it. And so are the Republicans who continue to support him.
I don't know how they. I don't know how they do that. I mean, I'm sorry. Presidents are only allowed to accept gifts that are $430, and then
Or less.
if they want it, they can buy it, but only three. That's the rules, and the rest goes to America.
Yeah, but at what point does he give a fuck about any rules? Like, he does not.
No,
You know, that's
he's,
all.
He's the
That's always the question. How does he do this? How does he get away with this? And it's a simple answer, because the Republican Party, who's in power in the House and the Senate, allow him to do it. That's the only reason he can do it. The Republican Party in total
Aye.
allows him to do it, gives him the room to do this.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, it's frustrating to
Where
say
is
the least.
Congress? Mike Johnson's in charge of Congress, and they have the majority.
Yeah,
I was answering
But the-
somebody in the comments.
but that's their boy. That's their boy.
Yeah.
So they're going to let him get away with anything. The Democrats are doing some things, but again, without majority in the House or the Senate, there's only so much they can do. They need to scream, they need to make noise, and they need to continue to do that. But to actually take action against a president, it's going to take the Republicans to do it. And it's not going to happen with the Republicans until the last day, the last minute before he becomes more of a liability to Donald Trump or to the Republicans than an asset. And apparently they still think of him as an asset.
I'm not quite sure how. Not accepting all these gifts. I mean, that's against the.
Even Laura Loomer put out a freaking statement saying that it's wrong to accept the gifts. Like even Laura Loomer put that out.
Ben Shapiro
Yeah,
did too,
she's
that
mad.
goofball.
Right.
And Rand Paul
Right. So they,
is
they know.
furious.
They know.
Josh Hawley, the runner, he said it. The question is when it comes down to voting to either not allow him to take these gifts or to attack or cut Medicare or Medicaid, they're all against it. But what happens when it comes down to the vote? It seems like Donald Trump always gets on the phone and causes these people to change their minds. I'm hoping he's not able to do it this time with his people, but fuck. I don't know. We've seen them pass some ridiculous shit because Donald Trump called them. Well, Bren, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on and taking the time. You're welcome anytime. Check with us anytime we're doing live, and please put your hand up again, and we'll put you on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
check to see if there's a request from Helpful 411. He's a Trump supporter.
No, there's not.
Okay.
They're a little gutless, so it's not too fucking surprising. Let me just check here. It just changed. Nope. He'd rather hide under the rock while he still can. So, all right. Well, let's go with WTF is JoJo. Hey,
Hey, how you
WTF,
doing?
what's on your mind?
That's just a new account. I'm 75 Corvette.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
all
My
right.
account got banned.
Wow.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's the third one this year.
Wow.
Because I don't take no shit in my
I
comments.
was gonna say you must be out there doing good works then,
Oh
girl.
yeah, I don't take anything at all from them. Like I said, I've never been monetized, so I don't give a crap if they cancel every account I have. I'll just start another one.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So I just popped into your live, but I think you were talking about the jet, the supposed gift.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I think, you know, the idea that Pam Bondi is part of that decision making group is literally ludicrous. At this point, we have no legal protections against every act that this man commits. None.
Right.
Zero.
No.
And to think that we need or rely on anything that she says is a complete joke. And at this point, I'm more concerned about these 49 people that they flew in over here from South Africa, according to a lot of things I've been reading and trying to get up to speed on what's going on there, that this is, a complete farce. There is absolutely not one person there that's an actual farmer, number one. And number two, they are not in any group of people being threatened. Number three, Apparently, they also are troublemakers from their own country. So,
Yeah.
you know, the idea that, and you all know who Westmoreland is, right?
Yep.
That this,
Westmore? West,
yeah,
are you talking about
Westmoreland.
Westmore, the mayor or the governor of Maryland?
No. Will Westmoreland, the guy
Yeah.
who
Guy.
is an advocate for the Midwest farmers.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know him, but go ahead.
I don't think he's going to sit still for this at all. And the farming community in this country should be up in arms right at the moment that this is. I watched Don Lemon. I'm a mod for him, and he had a guest on, a POC farmer, a black man from the farming community who has been targeted for years and is now being denied government assistance that they normally are entitled to apply for. And these people are coming over now claiming to be farmers. And apparently, according to people in South Africa, on good information, and I've checked some of their resources, that these people haven't farmed a day in their life. And so they're being brought here for other reasons. And we know that they are less than legitimate. So we got another problem on our hands. I know it's only a small number of them, but look at what they're being given by the government to get started to set up here. And that's not acceptable. And I hope that we really do something about standing up against this. And according to some of the things that I've read, and one of my posts is doing, pretty well, meaning that I've got enough people commenting that are from South Africa that are giving us more facts, that these people are not going to acclimate to our style of living here. They come from a country with 62 million people,
Right.
and so they claim to be discriminated against, and they happen to be the minority in the population, but the majority that hold all the power and the money and the land and all the other things. And that's what the fighting is about. That the people that are the original people from South Africa are saying, we are not putting up with this anymore. So these people are escaping out of, failure in their own
Yeah.
country to get what they want. And they think they're going to come here and join the YT community of haters here.
Well, don't you think pulling in these white people from South Africa is basically performative and basically their way of trying to own the libs? Because that's all they worry about.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's another distraction, right? Because now we're concentrating on 49 people who are being given all kinds of rights and given all kinds of class status because they're considered a refugee. So they're entitled to all kind of governmental assistance that they're denying other legitimate refugees. And they're deporting those people and deporting American citizens.
Yeah.
It's only to cause absolute chaos in the minds of people who are easily affected by the unfairness of what it is. And mind you, it's only 49 people, right? They're able to do this with just a tiny number of people, but it's enough to get the press to write about it and disrupt everybody and then take our eyes off of Medicare and the budget and everything else that's going on right under our noses, because we're getting ourselves all bent out of shape over 49 people that are being given basically status that no refugees have ever been given. Farmland, money, food, shelter, what?
We're not
Well, and,
gonna,
I would like to get some the criteria for them being refugees and how it's not similar to somebody from South America who's coming from a similar situation. The only difference here is the color of their skin. Somebody's saying here, isn't it going to be 8,000 total, 49 now,
Yeah.
but isn't there more
Yeah.
coming?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the goal. Yeah. They're basically going to build their own community. They're going to be giving them a place that is going to be sort of isolated for just them, because according to the people commenting in my post that are from South Africa, they said they will not like it in your country because they will not get the privileges that they have been used to in South Africa. So the reason
Right.
that they are going to have to keep them in a community of their own. Is the one person just noted that if you don't have enough coffee and cigarettes, they aren't going to be happy. I wrote back to them, well, it's basically illegal to smoke anywhere in this country except in your own home. Basically,
Right.
there is no public smoking. So I have no idea how severe their behaviors will be, but apparently these are not the cream of the crop, according to the South Africans. These are people that are basically failures, YT failures, and they're crybabies.
Yeah. Well, when they were bringing in refugees or immigrants anyway to Florida and Texas, you know what they did? They put them on planes and sent them to blue areas.
Yeah.
So if Donald Trump is bringing these folks in, it only makes sense that he sets them up in red states.
Yep.
And if they love Donald Trump, then they will love this. But if they send these people to blue states, knowing that they are fans of Donald Trump, they aren't going to fit in too well. They're going to have a problem. And when they get in these red states and when the Republican folks realize what's happening with them, they ain't going to like it either.
No, because
regardless of whether or not they're white.
right, because they're taking away services and they're getting privileges that even the people in the red states won't be accessible to. And there's a person in the comments, Paul Prince and me, says Trump is building his army. Absolutely, 100%.
You think that's what it is? You think there
I
is
think that
some
they will
army
be
aspect of
beholden.
this?
I think they'll be beholden to him, yeah. And that if they're going to be set up in red states, that they'll be easily, it's going to be a give and take. You came to this country with nothing, right? You came with just your bags packed because we promised you everything when you got here. And once someone owns you, they control you.
Yeah, but even 8,000 people isn't enough to pull something like that off. And when they get here and they start whining and crying about not getting everything they want, because let's be honest, when Donald Trump makes promises, very rarely do they come through. When
Right.
they find out they've been duped, they may be just the opposite attitude that what Donald Trump is expecting to get out of them.
Right. And that may happen as well. It may absolutely turn on them and they may get here and get nothing that they expected, or it may not be the way they expected it. And according to, as I said, my video has 41,000 views and about two, I don't remember how many comments, but the people commenting from South Africa said, we don't want them back. We don't take them back. You got like the dregs of our society. So this sounds very similar to the people in the United States who thought they were going to run away to Russia, remember? And they went
Yeah.
over there and then they cried and they wanted to come back.
Well, wasn't it Donald Trump that said, when these countries send their people, they're not sending their best?
Absolutely. And now he's actually inviting them, right?
Right.
Now he's actually giving them a personal invitation, a promise of housing and food and all these things, and farmland that they don't even know how to farm.
Yeah.
Doesn't it sound a lot like when we brought the Africans over, the prisoners from Africa to be slaves in our country? Like, doesn't it sound a lot like
Yeah, a little bit like that. It has,
Yeah.
it smells a lot like that, where they're going to
has-
be beholden to the government, right?
It's giving trafficking vibes to me.
That too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I think when they get here and they find out the accommodations aren't going to be what they think they are, as you said, Boomer, they're gonna start their own rebellion, and we may be putting them back on a charter plane and dropping them somewhere
Not,
else.
not
Well, this is Donald Trump trying to change the narrative too. He does it all the time. Like, for instance, prior to his announcement of UK, people were saying, "Well, when are you going to get a deal? You haven't had deal one. You didn't have a deal one." And then 2 days later, he comes out, "Well, we got a great deal with the UK.
Yeah.
We got a great deal with," and it's no fucking deal at all. Same
Right.
with China. Oh, China's going to bury us. Oh, we got a deal with China. There's no deal with China.
No.
There's a pause. And now, when it comes to the deportations, you're just sending everybody out of the country. You don't want to help anybody. So now he thinks this is going to change the narrative because he's bringing people in, albeit that they're white.
Right.
But he's trying to adjust the narrative. He's trying to cover his ass so you can't keep throwing this in his face. Unfortunately, it ain't going to work.
Could you imagine being that stupid? Can you imagine being that stupid where
Well, that's
you-
what the people in my comments are claiming.
Right.
The South Africans are saying they are those people that are uneducated and like your MAGAs.
Oh, Trump's favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're that dumb. They're that dumb.
could you imagine being so stupid that you're deporting brown people, and to counter that, you're going to bring in a bunch of white people?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the idiocy is astounding. I mean, I just can't wrap my head around it.
Well, somebody in
I
the
tell you what-
comments here named Mitchie made a comment about the fact that they believe it's the land that Elon had bought. So that's going to be one of
Yeah.
the protections, I guess, that they've got, that Elon owns the property. But, you know, even Elon isn't that stupid. He may have the ground, the land, the dirt, but he's not going to give them anything else.
Well, I tell you this, TJ, if I was that stupid and used those strategies, my wife would have me living in my car and I wouldn't have gas money. That's how fucking bad it was.
It's really that stupid. I can't understand it.
Well,
Yeah,
again,
it's-
we're not
it-
getting the brightest of the bunch,
No.
apparently.
No.
No. And what's
Yeah.
more, they're gonna fucking hate it here. I mean, they're just going to. It's like,
Yeah.
like like once people figure out who they are and what they're like, who got them here, they're gonna fucking hate them.
But like Boomer said, if they're going to red states, they may be welcomed in the beginning until the red state people that are not getting any of the things that they think they deserve, and these people are, that's going to turn them against them also.
Yeah, they need to send all these motherfuckers to Mississippi. All of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of them. And here's the one absolute we can always count on. Donald Trump always has big ideas. He's going to try to change the narrative or cut such a deal. But the absolute is always this: he will fuck it up, and it will work against him ultimately. So I can't wait till these people come in, bring in the 8,000, maybe put them up in a some kind of commune in fucking Texas, and let those motherfucking Texans deal with them.
And,
Yep.
and let someone down there start going, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats.
They might resort to that when they don't come through with all the promises they're going to give them. They may have to resort to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, 75 Corvette, WTF, whatever we're fucking calling you now. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for bringing me up.
Always. Feel free to come back. Maybe give TJ a heads up of who the hell you are next time you change.
Now-
You have a
now
different
I
incarnation.
had to friend you for like the third time.
Yeah, I was worried a little bit.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Okay, guys. Thanks
All right.
a lot.
Thank you very much. It's always good to hear from 75 Corvette. I'm going to pull up Rebecca. She was a recent guest. Rebecca, let's see if she pops up. Hey, Rebecca, how you doing? What's on your mind?
Hi, I was so excited by your live. I just wanted to join.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad you're excited. What's bugging you? What's making you angry? What's making you happy?
Well, there's a lot of things making me happy. My husband's being good. My life's good. My work is good. Which is strange because I'm super liberal and I hate actual world. I hate the world so much.
What part of the country are you from?
I'm okay. Florida.
Florida. How good could it be in Florida? We know what Florida's about. How are you feeling about the climate in Florida? And I'm not talking about the fucking weather.
It's really bad overall. And even though I'm okay, my friends are not okay, and the people I love are not okay, and that's not okay with me.
Yeah, I get that. It's got to be even tougher in Florida because I know you guys are going through some things.
Do you hear that? That was a helicopter going over my head.
Oh, what?
A helicopter.
A helicopter. Yeah, I imagine you got a lot of helicopters out there.
Very close to my head. but usually they don't come as close. I'm not that close to passing, or the Air Force, um or the MCO.
Well, when you're in Florida or Texas or one of the red states, you don't know if it's military or just the cops trying to find illegal immigrants. Who the fuck knows? But Rebecca, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much. Feel free to come back anytime.
Are you gonna kick me out now?
Well, you have something else you want to say? Go ahead.
No, I want you guys to talk and I want to be included.
Well, I got to get other people up here. That's one of the things I try to do. I have so much room, and I got to get people up here to get their input. The more people I get up, the better. You're more than welcome to ask any questions, but there's a couple people I keep up here, Rebecca and TJ and JD sometimes, because they're the moderators, and they do that. But if you've got something else, please tell me.
I've never not had a conversation with one of the other people. Never.
Okay.
So,
But
no, I don't get anything out of this for your marketing. So, I was just
I'm
saying.
not well, Rebecca, I'm not marketing anything. I just do what I do, and people like it or they don't like it. I'm not trying to pimp followers or views or anything. I'm just doing this, and
Aye.
I'm not trying to sell anything. I appreciate it, Rebecca. Yeah.
Not real sure what
Okay.
that was about.
Let's pull somebody else up. This is Mishi, I believe.
Yeah,
If she's there.
that's me. Short for
Mishi,
myself.
how you doing? What's on your mind?
I'm doing good. I am just, I don't know how I feel about these Afrikaners that have come into the U.S. They are giving them so many benefits. They're giving them housing, they're giving them land, they're giving them all of the things that they should be giving people that are already here. And this is a problem for me.
Well, what's
You know,
ironic about this is that they're going to give these people all these things because they claim that brown people get all these things, which isn't true. But
correct.
they're going to give them all these things, and in the same time, they're calling to cut 13.5 million people off the rolls for medical care.
Medical care,
Absolute
exactly.
citizens are going to get kicked off of their medical care, and these clowns. And forgive me, I don't have anything against people from South Africa. If people are persecuted and they need safety, they should be able to come here. But this strikes me as Donald Trump just doing owning the libtard type of thing, and he's bringing them up there for some performative reason to make a point. And as we've heard about these people from South Africa, they may not be the most desirable folks. I don't know if that's true, but I think we should. What about America first? You're going to kick
Exactly.
people off medical care, and you're going to bring people in from South Africa. It seems contrary to what Donald Trump has been saying.
You know, and it's the president of South Africa has been saying everything that Donald Trump is saying is not true. They're not being murdered. They're not
Shocker.
being their land is not being taken. It's like
Yeah.
how long have the Dutch been there and what land did they take from the South Africans?
We are not in the time of apartheid any longer. I
No.
don't understand what
No.
they're.
No.
It's just
No more.
ridiculous. You know,
What
we
what
have
state are you
family.
in?
I'm in California.
Oh, okay. So you're in a reasonable state.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just it's just unbelievable to me. I think it's just surreal to me, and I'm just like, what is going on? It's wild. You're going to give these people medical education, jobs, or not jobs, but you're going to give them farmland, which you have not given subsidies for the farmers that are already here, but you're going to support them?
Yeah, it seems weird.
What's the
It
deal?
se-
Yeah. But then being a person of color, I'm like, okay, so I go with, okay, the YT is right, right? He wants to make sure that he's getting rid of the brown people and bringing in the YTs.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's wild.
It is. It is frustrating. It is frustrating. We're getting down toward the end, so I'm going to try to get as many people on. Mishi, thanks for coming on. I appreciate
Hey,
it.
take me down. I appreciate you having me up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what do you think the
Um,
chances are that Trump promised them all this stuff, so they get him here, and Trump stiffs them?
oh,
100%.
definitely.
That's
They get
100%. 100%.
They promise
Yeah.
them land, they promise them a house, they promise them education.
They're not getting
Yeah,
any of that shit.
They're not getting anything.
All right. We have MLO 844. Are you there? And what's on your mind?
Oh my God. I did not mean to
Oh,
connect, but hey, I always enjoyed listening to you.
oh.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's no problem. You know, it's confusing sometimes. Sometimes people request and they don't have an intention of doing that. I was putting you up mainly to put a slight delay on British John. But
I knew it. I knew it. I knew that.
Gonna stall a little bit.
but MLO,
I don't feel
go ahead.
I don't feel like I can compete with the intelligence that's on here, so I just seriously.
Well, you know what?
Well-
You know what? We like everyone. So even if
We
you
don't-
have a little idea
we
or
don't
something you want to talk about, we like to hear from all types of people.
Yeah, I despise Donald Trump, so anything that comes out of my mouth is going to be
Welcome here.
probably not helpful.
Feel free to
Bring it
swear
on.
as much as you want.
You know,
Hey,
just
MLO, have you ever seen my videos, MLO? I haven't
I
said.
have.
I've said nothing.
I have.
I've said nothing but talk shit about Donald Trump for 4.5
I
years.
have
So
watched your videos.
you got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, I have watched your videos, and I listen to a lot of the people that come on and join you, and I just, I suppose it's like madness to me. Like none of this makes any sense.
No, it really doesn't. Every day it seems surreal, and it seems like this can't be happening.
Yeah.
But fuck if it isn't. It is absolutely happening. MLO, thank you very much for coming on. I
And
appreciate
ironically,
that.
before I leave,
Yeah.
what gets me the most is if the average person would even remotely come close to this clown, we'd all be in jail.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. For whatever reason, well, we know what the reason is. Republicans allow him to do all this crazy shit, which they will pay for ultimately, but they are part and parcel responsible for Donald Trump running rogue throughout this country and grifting everything he can get his hands on. They are the reason.
Yeah, and also to all the families out there, his first time around literally threw my family into a tizzy, and
Yeah.
I have watched my entire family separate and go in their corners, and it is so maddening. Oh, I just want to punch him.
Well, I think we got at least 4 other folks here that would like to do the same.
I'd like to do a little more than punch him personally.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, MLO, thank you very much. I'm going to get to British John.
All right.
And we're going to wrap things up shortly. We're either going to wrap it up because I want to or because
Or
we
it's
have
going
to.
to get
I don't
shut
know.
down. It's
Yeah,
the grand
absolutely.
finale.
In,
This is the grand finale.
in all respect, I think he's only shut you down once, right?
Oh, fuck this guy. Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
He's getting fucking blocked.
Blocked him.
Yeah,
He's not talking. He's
Should've
not
pulled
talking
him
about
up.
British John.
Should've
Yeah.
pulled
No,
him up.
I'm talking about the fucking idiot in the comments.
Well, there's a few out there. British John,
From 2028.
welcome back.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. It's very kind of you to have me here tonight. I think it's only appropriate that I come clean. I'm actually from South Africa. I'd like to thank Mr. Trump for hearing our cries of white genocide. We have suffered for so long under a black government. We have been forced to acknowledge the presence of other human people. I wouldn't even call them people in our community. And so I am so glad that he heard us and he has made a place for us, not just in his heart, but in his country.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll just say British John is doing a dialect there. He's not South African. He's British. British John, I got to ask you, you got to be embarrassed as a British either former or current British subject. You got to be absolutely embarrassed for your country after Donald Trump absolutely played you, the UK, in that deal. Man, did he burn you guys?
Yeah. So this will only make sense to 3 people here, but if you are of a similar age as me, the fact that we got to see Peter Mandelson, or Mandy as we called him back then, standing next to Trump in the Oval Office was incredulous. To British people, to see the former minister without portfolio who created New Labour at the turn of the millennium, it was just like, what the hell? He's alive and he's there. What's crazy is, and here's the thing. It hurt. No, here's the thing. I don't really like the British government. I'm not political about it because I don't live there. I did my own Brexit. Mine was successful, and but they did a great thing in being the first to get a trade deal. Which, let's be honest, right now is a press release. There's still a lot of work to be done on it. But Trump was desperate to have a country with some level of credibility that he could say he's done a deal with. The British, you should understand, Obama refused to give Britain a trade deal when they came out of the European Union with Brexit because he did not want to be seen. He could not be seen to be giving Britain a sweetheart deal.
Right.
And Trump, they did everything. They gave him the parade. They took him shooting at Balmoral. Trump told everybody the Queen gave him a secret knighthood. Which, by the way, the Emoluments Cause, I like somebody to play that tape. She told me I couldn't tell anybody, but she gave me a knighthood. Okay, well, you just disqualified yourself.
Well, isn't it true that you can't be knighted unless you're a British national?
Yeah, but I mean, if the Queen was there and she had the opportunity to put a sword on his neck, you'd hope she did the right thing.
Yeah, use it the right way. What the fuck?
Let me just clarify, okay? The Queen was a huge fan of Jodie Foster. If you know, you know. Anyway,
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
But they managed. So Trump screwed them around because, as we all know, he can't legislate or actually execute on anything. And then Biden, of course, just followed Obama's lead and said, well, if you want to break up a huge union, we're not going to reward you either. And, of course, he has Irish connections, and the Irish would have played merry hell about it. So the British did what they could, and they've got the deal that they've been desperate for nearly 16 years. And I'm still not going back. But, yeah, it was just, you can now get a Land Rover again. If you want a shitty luxury car with a water pump that's bound to be failure, you can. And by the way, I have a lot of reconditioned Land Rover and Range Rover and Jaguar XK8 water pumps in my garage. Beautifully reconditioned. DM me if you need one. They're just $1,200. Not joking. I actually do have those. That was my side hustle when I first came to this country.
You were selling shitty European cars?
No, I was selling water pumps for Jaguars and Land Rovers. They all have this one water pump which fails.
Oh, I got you.
He's selling. Well, maybe
selling used cars now.
Used car parts.
He's selling used car parts.
Yes.
For really expensive vehicles.
Yeah, that was
for
my
junk
thing.
expensive vehicles,
which will take you 6 hours to change the water pump because you have to take apart the entire car to get to it.
I could do it in 3.5 because I've done a lot of it.
You got your experience.
But you know what? The fact of the matter is, you shouldn't have to change a water pump on the regular on those vehicles.
No.
On $100,000 vehicle.
But the reason they fail is because in California is because you run the AC all year round. So that was kind of the problem with them. They were designed for British weather, which is like, one sunny day in August, maybe a half afternoon. Other than that, just crack a window.
Yeah.
Let me talk about something serious though. We just
Go ahead.
planted for those who don't know, my family is only half British. My wife and the rest of the family are American. They're all farmers or come from farming stock. We own a big chunk of land in Nebraska and part of Colorado, particularly Sedgwick County on the border of Colorado and Nebraska. We own pretty much most of it, or the farm, not the town. So the land. We have just put our wheat in. We put corn in a little while ago. We've put wheat in against the advice of our land management, because they are predicting that wheat prices will be god awful this year because of the economy and because of the shortage of people we'll have to sell it to internationally. We can only eat so much bread, and our corn. Problem with that is if we don't get rain, even though we've had a lot of rain, if we don't get rain in the next 3 weeks, good chance that crop will fail as well. So this year we may be farming crop insurance. That's not a thing we like to say, but we are hampered by the fact that the EPA, so normally we have a liaison officer that works with the EPA and the agriculture department to make sure that when we put fertilizers on the ground, it's done in coordination so that we don't get runoff into the River Platte, so that you don't get an algae bloom in the big tourist reservoirs. Guess who got laid off?
Oh.
And the liaison officers. There is no. So currently there is no plan. We've had the farmers have had to work it out for themselves, and that has never worked well in the past. There was a reason that person was there. Because this is millions of acres of land and it has to be coordinated. But government knows best.
So how are the farmers in Nebraska reacting to what's going on here? Many of them, no doubt, voted for Donald Trump. I've talked to JD about this. He's a farmer in Illinois. You have a farm in Nebraska. Are you hearing anything from other farmers that are going, "Oh, we fucked up"?
The beef and dairy are absolutely screwed. They've lost 80% of their workforce.
Wow.
They weren't waiting for ice to turn up. A lot of them quit by the end of January and are elsewhere. They're not there. So you hear reports that Nebraska might go broke in the next couple of months. It be true. We are protected from that to a greater degree because it's a family operation. It's what we call the cousins. And they have 2 employees that are local. They are Hispanic, but they are here legally. I'm not saying that just because they are. I've actually met them, and they speak better English than I do. Sorry, that's not true. They speak better English than most Americans.
You guys invented the language.
I was winding up for the joke there, TJ. I had an angle. And so we're fine. What we will have to make a decision on very shortly is pumpkins. So we do grow pumpkins for Halloween. We don't distribute them out to Walmart. We sell for local stuff. That is more labor intensive, and there is a good chance that we won't do anything. We won't plant pumpkins this year. We'll probably just leave in those fields. We may just throw some clover in them just to fix some nitrogen. It's not a big part of the operation. But yeah, there's just no workforce. Dairy and beef is absolutely on its knees right now.
Well, I think Donald Trump believes that since he had this pause with China, that's going to fix everything. But from what I understand, you're in California, right?
Yep.
So the ports in California, I mean, it's well and good that they may have a pause on these tariffs, but I don't know that means China's going to send ships still. And they haven't sent some for a while, so there's a lot of trouble in those ports, which will also trickle down to retail.
It will, and there will be. I mean, the retails will be felt everywhere, but it'll be felt in the middle of the country first because it costs less to transport stuff locally. I don't think it's
Right.
going to be as big. 30%, given the kind of margins they operate on, it will be. There will be issues, um, but I think it will be less than it was going to be. I think that's why Wall Street reacted the way it did. It could have been a lot worse. We'll see supply chain constraints, but people will know that stuff is coming, so it will take the panic out of the pricing. It isn't going to be like C19, where nothing was coming and we never knew when it was going to be coming again. And I'm sorry.
So you
to give
think
my
ships?
knowledge.
You think the ships will start up again?
Oh, they'll almost immediately. The China, but they may not send the same quantity because they've also diversified. So they've started
Right.
selling more to Europe and South America already. Those factories didn't shut down; they just sent stuff elsewhere. They'll
Right.
still want to sell. They can command a premium. Also, remember, a lot of American companies were importing. They imported a lot of stuff in advance. They knew shit was going to happen, so they brought stuff forward. So there may be an equalizing effect. But where you've got massive tariffs on what I call local production, i.e. cars, that's still going to be an issue. There's a lot of Chinese electronic components in Ford and Stellantis vehicles. And even Tesla.
Well,
Remember, Tesla gets its batteries from China for the
right.
Model 3 standard range. They come from CTS.
Tesla probably won't feel the pinch though, because nobody's buying that bullshit anymore. So they don't really need batteries if they aren't selling the fucking cars.
They're shutting down production of the Model Y and Cybertruck for a full week over the May holiday, which they do not normally do.
I would think, if they're going to shut down Cybertruck, might as well shut it down permanently, because anybody in this area gets seen driving a Cybertruck gets laughed at and pointed at. Totally the opposite of reason why they bought the fucking thing.
They're probably shutting it down over the holiday as an excuse to not have to produce anymore, so that they're.
No, that's exactly why they're doing it, because the cost of keeping the people on their hourly is less than the production costs. Tesla's its own problem, but they created it. Ironically, the sales of EVs is actually up, but they're not Teslas. So,
Right.
yeah. Now, by the way, the person who said, "Who the heck wants a Tesla?" Let me just be clear about this. MLO 844. I'm a huge fan of other people paying for my depreciation. So there is a non-zero chance that I will pick up a Model Y on the cheap at some point in the next 6 months, if the economy, depending on my own personal circumstances. They're not a bad car; they were just created by an asshole. But I am not proud about that. If I have access to the supercharger network, all my cars are electric or plug-in, so I have big ass solar panel. I'm old school conservative.
Just make sure you buy it used, so you're not actually
No, I
supporting.
will be. It'll be. I'm a huge fan of someone else paying my depreciation. It will be used, and I will.
Yeah.
I will take full advantage of the misery. I don't have to be a good person.
Yeah,
But
right.
yeah.
I think that is being a good person.
I got one more thing to share with you. I'd like to share some good news. We need. I'm sure you agree. We need more good news. We need some happiness in this world. So, do you mind giving me a minute, and I'll tell you a very pleasant, almost pleasant story, sir. I think this might be.
Yeah, feel free. Go ahead.
So, I'm down 20 pounds in the past 6 weeks. I've been on Zepbound, one of the GLP-1 drugs. But I wanted to just take a moment for anyone else that's looking at these to let you know about some of the side effects that are not getting the coverage they need. I'm losing the weight because I want to be a father to my wonderful daughter for longer. The appetite suppression is incredible. I have to set an alarm to remember to eat because otherwise I forget. The mental clarity is amazing. I can walk into the kitchen and not feel like I need to disarm a bomb made of carbs. Trader Joe's cheese team sent me a card saying we miss you, which is sweet,
Yeah.
but also vaguely threatening, like come back or we're going to tell the brig. But let me be clear, there is a price. I have lost my place in the marital bed. My wife has firmly suggested that I move to the guest room. This is because a few days ago I woke up. I woke myself up, not from a nightmare, but from a burp. Not just any burp. I'm talking a Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus Rex coming through the gate. It was sulfuric, it was violent, it was biblical. Then came the fart. like my ass wanted to provide commentary, and it smelled exactly like the burp tasted. My dog, who I have seen lick his own butthole for 3 minutes straight, and who treats the cat litter like a Vegas buffet, gagged and left the room. At this point, this is not just weight loss. This is social isolation. This is not a diet drug. This is a biological weapon. But hey, by summer, I'll be skinny, single, and full of probiotics.
Well, you know, it's fun. You know, what's funny is I have type 2 diabetes, and I had a few pounds to lose too, and still do. But my doctor put me on Ozempic, and it is weird. You know, there was a time when I could see if I saw a buffet, I go, I'm fucking in. I don't care what they're serving, I'm in. And I just cannot eat as much as I used to. And it's helpful because I'm 65. If I continue to eat the way I did, I would be dead soon. But it is a weird experience. It's a weird experience in how it makes you. I don't know if it messes with your mind or your body, but here's one thing I found. I can't eat a lot, but I've got to eat regularly. Because if I don't eat for a period of time, I get nauseous, you know? And so I got to eat something like a piece of cheese or anything just to get me to the next one. It's a weird feeling. It's something I've never had before. I don't even know if it's good.
No, Ginger killing, you don't get cravings. This is a crazy thing. You take the injection on day one, and on day two, the cravings have gone. It is bizarre how quickly it happens and how total. And it gets to the point for me, I can sit here in my office working all day, and at 4 o'clock, I will literally start falling asleep because my blood sugar has dropped too low.
Yeah.
And so I'm not joking. In the joke, I'd say, you know, but I have an alarm go off at 1:30 to remind me to eat something before I go and pick my daughter up from school. Because it's too easy to not just miss one meal, but and sometimes I will only eat lunch, and I'll have to remember to eat something around dinner time just so I don't get the horrible stomach smells. It's not pain; it's just smells. But it's I love it. It's been now, of course, there has to be a dark side to this. My insurer uses CVS Care something for fulfillment, and I've been told I now have to get a 90-day supply as soon as possible because they want to change the version that I'm on to save money because American healthcare. That's a minor thing. No, it's very positive. I couldn't believe the swelling's crazy. You can't see this, but like my fingers are almost like normal shaped again. I shot a video which I'll put up later on, and I'm looking like there's no filter. I'm like, oh, I really have my face. I haven't lost a huge amount of weight, but the swelling's gone, and it's great. But anyway,
it is a nice plus when you do a video and your face fits within the frame. It's it's fucked up when you're out to the sides here, but yeah, it's weird. Well, we're going to wrap up Fat Guy Talk.
Let me finish. Feel free to follow me. I'm going to announce it on TikTok shortly. There'll be a thing go up. I'm going to be doing shows in June in San Diego and also in Hawaii. I will be on the island of Hawaii in Kona one night. They just told me a few minutes ago. So if you're in Hawaii, the week of the 14th, British John will be headlining somewhere.
And anybody wondering about me, tomorrow I'll probably be down about 3 blocks at a garage sale because that's what old fucking people do. We go to garage sales and we have no business buying anything, but we still go because it's in our DNA to go check out garage sales. So you're going to Hawaii. I'm going down about 6 blocks. And
are you going to break out Studio B this week?
I already did. I already did a video from Studio B. And John, if you don't know what Studio B is, I live on a lake and I have a small pontoon boat. And when I go out, sometimes I'll refer to that as Studio B, which is a great place to be because no one can get near me. But we already did that once, and we'll be doing it some more.
If you just hear a few geese, that's all. Oh, that's fantastic. I would do the same. If I go outside, all you'll hear is 14 show dogs being assholes. So you will not see me doing videos outside very often.
And occasional flatulence, from what it sounds like.
I could muffle it. The sound deadening is not bad for that. Yeah, no, it's
Well,
it's fun.
that's good. Well, thank you to Rebecca, TJ the plumber, for your moderating expertise and your input. JD Farmer, British John, thank you for coming on. And everybody else that showed up, thank you for taking the time to come on and express your opinions. I appreciate everybody taking the time to listen. I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Bye, boys and girls.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks.